Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not
Well, hey, are you listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, present, and future of Christian music. My name is Joel. I'm here with my good friend Brandon, and we connected over a mutual love of some particular artists, but also have pretty different tastes. And we get to experience new stuff from each other while inviting some friends along for the ride. Brandon, we have a guest joining us today. This is pretty fun because he's a guest of a project that we both enjoy a lot. And in fact, he was on your top 10 last year.
He was.
Which is really fun. It's Eric Jett of Fepeste. Eric, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, happy to be here. Stoked to be on the podcast with probably the greatest name for a podcast that's out there. Referencing a Starflyer song, so that's always cool. It just fits perfectly. Anyway, happy to be here, guys.
We're pumped to have you. I don't think anybody else knows that that's the case, so it's nice to have someone on that does.
Yeah.
It works out really well. So, yeah, Eric, man, we're excited. I'm excited to talk about Fepeste and kind of just your whole music thing and get to hear some from you as we kind of get into a conversation a little bit. But it's fun to have you on for the whole episode, so you get to go on the whole crazy journey.
Oh, yeah.
Us.
I mean, the least fun part is having to talk about myself and my music. If I'm going to jump on here with you guys, if I'm going to jump on, I want to make sure I get to like play the games and stuff with you guys.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it'll be total chaos, so we'll see how it goes. All right, well, let's start off today by talking about what's in the news.
What's in the news? What's in the news?
All right, I don't know if you guys saw this, or Eric, how well you may know this, but we're friends. One of our first guests that we had on was Jared Byers from the band Bleach.
Awesome.
So they were like a forefront tooth and nail band back in the day. And Bleach has kind of had a little bit of a resurgence as of late. And so, Brandon, did you see that they are doing this like studio live record that they have coming out called the Foxden Sessions?
I did. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I'm too. And it's like they're basically like covering songs from their kind of whole career. But doing it live in the studio and like reimagining some of the stuff, but playing kind of straightforward versions of some of it. Like it's kind of a mix. And so Davey, their lead singer, had this to say. He said, "The record as a whole carries equal parts nostalgia and rediscovery. We weren't trying to replicate these songs. We wanted to get in the studio and see if we could breathe new life into them with the perspective of who we've become as people after 22 years of life off the road. We think it turned out pretty great, and we can't wait for you to hear it." And so, anyways, it's up. You can pre-order it on vinyl. And so I did because I'm a sucker. Got to have my vinyl. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. That's cool.
That's really cool. I think it's cool that I feel like growing up, people would release like remix albums, but it was always just like, here's the song, but we added some dogs barking or something to it. Like it would just be remixing. And I feel like in recent years, I've seen a lot of bands just like reimagining. And back in, I guess it'd been 2019, 2018, whenever Last Bison produced Suda, there was like certain songs they had like 5 different versions of. So you had the album version, then you had this like acoustic version, then this studio, then a live version. And it was cool because I was like, man, some of these songs, like you listen to the acoustic version and it takes on a whole new way. So I feel like it's been cool to see bands kind of go in and reimagine. And sometimes it almost shows you this is what could have been. Like we decided to take this detour, but it almost became this or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Eric, did you ever get to listen to Bleach back in the day?
A little bit. I got into them a little bit later, so yeah. I'm definitely gonna check this out though. I love it when bands do stuff like this, especially when they reimagine songs.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna record a live album, I feel like you got to give people something a little bit unique and different. So I love the concept of this whole thing they're doing.
I actually think some of my favorite albums are like live in studio albums. Yeah, there's just something cool and special about that. So it should be fun. I'm really interested to know who remixed some of their songs by putting dogs barking into them now. So
Either, it's the 2000s.
that's pretty cool. All right, well, let's talk about what we've been listening to lately. What are some things you guys been listening to?
For me, been listening to Gable Price and Friends released a new single, "Looking for You," and been a big fan. I feel like my expectations are always so high for Gable Price that one of these days I'm gonna listen and be like, this is bad. But so far they keep on exceeding. So it was pretty cool. It's pretty good song.
That's cool. I feel like they've kind of always got a new song out.
Mm-hmm. That's what they do. That's what him and his friends are doing. Always just recording.
I love it. Eric, what about you?
So this is like Christian music that we listen to, right? Specifically?
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. I think one of my favorite albums last year that I still listen to is Nate Parrish's Make Me a Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't listen to much punk these days, but when I do, it's always Nate Parrish. So
That's cool.
Love that album. Another artist that I really want to shout out because her music's always getting played at some point or other, for me is Weak Sheep. I think more people need to go out and listen to her.
Yeah.
Weak as in like W-E-A-K.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's out of Washington. She makes awesome music. And then I heard recently this band I've been listening to a lot, Bellador. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. No, Joel told me about this band that he was in that I unfortunately was not hip on the Bellador train back in 2003. But yeah, past few days been checking that out and it is awesome. So if anybody, I don't know, I'm sure everybody listening to this podcast already knows about Joel's band. I just found out, but it's like if Mineral took on like some of the characteristics of early Unwed Sailor, like the Faithful Anchor era. It's awesome early 2000s emo. So I've been digging that.
You're very kind. I appreciate that.
I'm serious. I've been listening to it. It's awesome.
Joel, did y'all have name for your fans? Like, did you like is Eric now a bell or a door?
I don't know. I just like renamed our like group text thread. And it's called the Bella Boys. So I don't know.
I was thinking doorbell, but I guess that yours works too.
I think it was this past, I don't know, in the last week or so, Sky Peterson, I've talked about her before on the podcast, just put out her new full length called Through Line. And so she is daughter of Andrew Peterson, who we've covered one of his records on the podcast. And I really loved that record and loved some of his stuff. But his daughter Sky is really cool and makes really, really good, thoughtful kind of indie folk kind of stuff. And her stuff reminds me a lot of like a Phoebe Bridgers kind of thing. And so she's got like a unique sense of melody and a cool voice. And she's a really good songwriter. So I've really enjoyed that record as it's come out. I've played it a bunch and been listening to it. So yeah, it's been fun.
It's really cool.
All right, let's check the mail.
Check the mail. Check the mail. Who, what, when, how, why? Check the mail.
All right, our mail today comes from friend of the show, John Wilson, who we had on when we talked about the Supertones record, Chase the Sun. And so he said this. He said, Brandon introduced us to Grace Graber, and particularly her Punk X Praise album. I love it and have enjoyed listening to her take on popular worship songs. It reminds me of the Insiders album, Scalleluja, where they did the same thing in the late 90s. Their version of Ancient of Days is still the only version I prefer of that song. I also mentioned when I was on the show the song Dive by Stephen Curtis Chapman that Witsit covered. And I like their version better as well. So my question for you is, do you have a favorite song that a Christian artist has covered? I would be interested in hearing if there are versions of songs that are covers that you prefer over the original. So, yeah, what do you guys think?
That's a tough question.
Songs that Christian bands have covered and you like the cover.
You prefer the cover over the original.
I guess that's true.
Oof.
Yeah. It makes it tough. I can go first if that's helpful. So there was we've covered one of their records, 7 Day Jesus, back in the day. They were kind of like a indie little emo. They were on 5 Minute Walk Records. After they put their first record out on one of the 5 Minute Walk Take Time to Listen compilations, they did a cover of a song called Dream All Day by the Posies. Probably not a lot of people know the Posies, but that cover of that song is incredible and one of my favorites. So I'm gonna go with that. I like the cover better. I think it's fantastic. Probably impossible to find these days on the internet, but it's great. So,
Eric, do you have any?
I have a few rattling around in my head. Well, I always try to think of Starflyer. What has Jason Martin done? And the first one that pops into my mind is Under the Milky Way cover he did by the band The Church. I think I like his version, but it's tough. I mean, the original's a classic. There's that one. There's a band that I think we've been all listening to for a reason that might become relevant later. But they have a few songs. The Welcome Wagon is a band that has done a lot of different covers, and I almost always like their version better than the original.
yeah.
But that'd be a lot of songs. Like, I mean, they cover a Danielson song, Sold to the Nice Rich Man. Their version's awesome. They cover a David Crowder song on one of their albums, Remedy, and I love that version a lot. Yeah, that's a big question.
Oh, I've got one. That's really interesting. This is a different one, but in the same world and in the same family. David Crowder, I don't prefer it actually to the original, but David Crowder covered a Sufjan song one time on one of his worship records.
That's right.
And it's not as good as the original because who can cover Sufjan and it be better?
Yeah, it's hard to outdo Sufjan.
Yeah, it is. But that was cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, for a guy like David Crowder to cover like who was at the time a pretty like unknown artist is pretty neat. So yeah.
I've got two, and I think that they might be really unpopular opinions. Okay,
They might be.
I'll go with the. I'll leave the most unpopular for the end. The first one is Africa by Reliant K. So they did like a karaoke album. I think they have the best version of that song ever.
Better than the Weezer cover?
Better than the original by Toto? What do you...
Better than Toad. This when Eric just leaves, we cut out. We're like, so we're glad Eric was here.
I love Weezer, but I can't ever say that their covers are better because they just do the like most generic covers of like every song they ever cover.
Okay, well, if you felt that way about Toto and Weezer, so House of Heroes back in the day, they released a cover of Beatles songs,
Oh yeah.
and specifically Obla Di Obla Da. I think. Oh, I'm not. They've really. let me reword this.
Next episode's mailbag is going to be called Hate Mailbag for Brandon.
I think that some people would say that EP was really amazing and a really good take on those songs.
I love that EP.
Okay, well, what I was going to say is I feel like it's better than the originals, but
Brandon, how much time have you spent listening to the Beatles? Though?
very little.
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to make an objective opinion on that, but
Yeah. Our former guest, Zach, he'd get really mad when he hears that. He's a really big fan of the Beatles. But no, I think, so that I don't get so much hate mail, I think that what's cool is when you have people that put a whole new spin on it.
yeah.
Because I think like if you're covering a song that is all like piano, and then that's what you do, it's just sing and do piano, versus like, if like with Grace Graber does, where it's like you take a worship song and now it's like a punk song, or vice versa. Like if you took a really big punk song and you just had like an acoustic guitar, like and did your like cover of it. So I think that for House of Heroes, I think with a lot of their songs, it's songs that probably normally I wouldn't listen to, But with them, I was like, oh, these songs are really cool. And so I feel like it was kind of like a gateway to, oh, that they wrote some stuff.
Yeah. I love House of Heroes.
I dug myself a hole and then I climbed out of it. So
I love House of Heroes. I love the Beatles. I don't know that they're better, but they're good. So
that'd be one of our future episodes.
honestly, they're great songs. And so a lot of covers are good because the songs that they're singing are good songs. And it's hard to mess them up. So, all right.
I want to say before we finish the mailbag session, though,
Yeah.
I listened to the most recent episode where Chris came on to talk about the John Foreman album.
Yes. Yeah.
And during that mailbag section, there was this question about what album would you put on, you know, like when U2 had their album on an iPod shuffle,
Yeah.
what album would you basically force everyone to own? And I just want to say that, Joel, your answers were probably exactly what my answers would have been, which is Beach Boys' Pet Sounds and Jimmy Eat World's Clarity. Those are my number 2 and number 3 favorite album of all time. And so, like, those were immediately, when I was listening to that episode, those were the albums that immediately jumped into mind for me. And so it's awesome hearing you guys literally say those albums. So,
Man, so good. I don't think Brandon's ever listened to either one of those.
oh my gosh. All right, now I really am leaving.
I'll get back in the hole.
We'll get there. Well, now, though, I have to know what your number 1 is.
It's Hebrews by the band Solos.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know that record. So I need
Oh
to
my
listen to
gosh.
it.
So Solos is it's this guy, Cody Curtis, I think is his name. He's like this composer. And he's got a group of musicians that that play with him, but he composes all these songs. And he takes a different book of the Bible for each album. So he's done longer books and he's done like shorter epistles for EPs and things like that. He's done Romans, Hebrews, Jude, Philippians, I think are the ones he's done. And it's basically like just interpreting scripture in song form. So you listen to this album and it's beautiful and the music perfectly fits the lyrics, but it goes through all these different movements, just like the book of Hebrews does. But it's
That's cool.
it's a great album. It's like, it's long though. It's like a double LP. So
Yeah. You'll have to send me a link to that. I definitely need to
yeah,
check it out.
I will.
It sounds really awesome.
It's great.
That's cool. All right. Well, don't forget, guys, if you have questions, you can reach out to us at heyareyoullisteningpod@gmail.com, and we'd love to be able to chat through those as well. So let's play a game.
Let's play, it's time to play a game. Let's play, it's time to play a game.
All right, everyone. So, summer is upon us, and summer is a time where people go on trips and they do really exciting things. So today, I've got a list of 5 activities that you get to do with a Christian artist. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to read them to you, and you get to rank them 1 through 5 as what is your, like, that is the number 1 thing. Yes. To, okay, that's cool, but just not as good as the rest or whatever.
Oh, really quick. When you say with a Christian artist, is there a specific one that we're doing it with? Because I feel like who we're doing it with might affect
Oh yeah.
how fun
you've
that
already
activity
assigned.
is going to be. Oh,
They've
we're assigned.
These artists volunteer to do these things. This is
Oh,
their
okay,
passion.
They've invited us along, basically.
They personally told me.
Yeah.
Okay.
The catch is, though, you have to blindly rank them. So you won't know what's coming next. So I'm going to read you the first one, and you can say, man, that's number 1. But the number 1 is taken. So,
Okay.
Okay.
And number 1 is what we want to do most.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And 5 is least.
Brandon's going to save the best one for last. Okay, we're ready.
All right. Number 1, you get to go hang out at a vintage arcade with Switchfoot.
Oh, so the artist is different with each activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That sounds pretty
dang.
good to me.
And all of them are free. Or it's either free or John Foreman gives you just a bag of quarters, whichever one you prefer.
It's one
And
of
all
those
of his
like,
tickets? Do I get all of his tickets from all the
Yeah, at the
So your
end, he's just
prize-
going to be like, hey, man, you have all of our tickets.
It's probably one of
So I
those
get to, like,
arcade museums where you like pay to get in, but then every game that you play is free.
But they're paying for you.
Okay.
It's completely free.
That's great.
They're
Is
just
it,
like, John's here.
is it in San
All right.
Diego?
Anywhere you want it to be.
Well,
All right,
they're
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm gonna, I know this is really tough for Joel, it seems like. So while he's thinking about where he wants to put, I'm just gonna put it right at number 3.
Okay.
You know, I love Switchfoot, I love arcades, but I'm really hoping, Brandon, that you saved some even more exciting things. So I can't like throw that too high unless I'm just gonna throw it right in the middle.
The
at
last
number
one's
3.
just Toby Mac gives you $10 million.
This is tough. I'm gonna go with number 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this a number 2 because I feel like hanging out with John Foreman would be really fun. So, and yeah, I like old video games.
All right. Number 2, we are going to do an outdoor activity.
Okay.
Paintball with the whole band of Casting Crowns.
5. I'm too old for that. I'm too old for that junk, man. I don't want to get welts and run around and play. 5.
I'm gonna go with 5 on that one too.
Okay. Next up, an escape room with both Lecrae and Andy Mineo.
Okay.
Okay, 4. It's
4.
too much. It's a lot of work. Escape rooms.
I love escape rooms.
I like them, but
I'll put it at number 3.
Number 3. Okay.
Yeah. I gotta think which ones.
I only have my
use.
I only have my number 1 and number 2 left. Dang it! They better be good, Brandon.
1 and
All right. Next one is dumpster diving with Petra.
Oh. 2. I wish I would have put that one 5. Dang it.
I think I have my 4. I'm gonna do 4 for that
Okay.
one. So, that would be interesting.
So it looks both of y'all held on to your number 1 for the final one.
It's gonna be the worst.
I'm just. Where's the one of like just sitting in a lawn chair with Jason Martin? Like that's my speed of things.
right?
Like doing nothing. That should be the number 1 for me.
Number 1 just becomes it's laser tag with Casting Crowns. But, no. So number 1 is vinyl shopping
Ooh.
with Jason Martin.
Oh yeah.
Was that really? Did you just throw Jason Martin in because I said it?
No, that was.
It was already there.
I felt like that was Joel's dream. So
Yeah, I think that's mine too.
Yeah.
That's definitely my number 1.
I'll
I'm
put
glad I
that at
saved
number
that.
1. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. So.
Although to be totally honest, I'll probably be buying CDs and not vinyl if that's cool. I'm a CD guy.
Oh, you and Brandon, CD guys.
there you go.
Did
I have vinyl. It's expensive, and I don't have a good record player, so
Oh, but you have your own album on vinyl, which is cool.
it is very cool.
Yeah.
It never gets played around here though.
I played it. I was actually playing it yesterday for my wife, which was fun. So
I get really jealous because Joel, like, I feel like at his house there's always some vinyl spinning, whereas at my house it's like I'll buy an album and then I'll just like display it, and then every 7 months I'm like, time to play this for an hour, and then I play it, then I'm like, there we go.
Brandon, you'd be proud of me. I put a CD player on my Amazon wish list.
Oh, okay.
I saw this CD player the other day that's like this upright thing, and you like put the CD in, and it's clear, so you get to watch it spin. But then they like backlight the CD, and so it looks really cool. And then it just Bluetooths to like whatever you want to play,
Oh, okay.
like it on or whatever. And so I'm like, that's kind of cool. So I'll start listening to CDs again.
It's nice and convenient.
Yeah. I guess you could just play it off of Apple Music or whatever instead of pulling the CD out. But yeah, that'll be fun. So, well, thanks. Yeah, I do want to hang out with Jason Martin. Have you ever hung out with Jason Martin, Eric?
No, I wish. No,
He's been involved in your music, though.
he did master my album. Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to get into that for sure. So
I got to briefly hang out with Jeff Cloud, so that was fun.
that's really cool. Yeah, I love that. He just sends me pictures in the mail. That's
Yeah.
the only thing I know.
I thought you were about to say he just like text you, and I was like, that's cool, but that's also just really random.
No, I just get pictures in the mail when I buy vinyl. All right. Well, let's kind of transition and get into our conversation. So, Eric, again, man, we're excited to have you on to talk about life, Fepeste, God, all the stuff. So, yeah, tell us a little bit just about how music kind of growing up became part of your life and something that you were like passionate about.
Yeah, I I don't really remember a time before I loved music. A lot of my earliest memories involve music. So I was that kid with a, portable Walkman cassette player following my parents around the grocery store, listening to like Michael Jackson or the Beach Boys or Ace of Base or something like that. I think that was later when I got CDs. But yeah, like I just loved music, listening to the radio in the car with my parents and all that stuff. And then when I was 13, I got a guitar for my birthday, but it was too difficult at the time to learn how to play. I just kind of didn't want to put in the effort. So kind of sat in the closet for a little period of time until high school when I started playing music. But yeah, I know you guys cover a lot of Christian music. I was not raised in a Christian home though. So like my early experiences with music were like I said, Michael Jackson, Beach Boys, Ace of Base. I remember those ones early on. But like buying CDs from the Columbia Music House thing where you send them a penny and then they take your soul from you, but you get like 12 CDs for a penny or something. And like getting like Green Day and Sublime and Beastie Boys and like all kinds of random albums like that. And in middle school, I unfortunately went through like a nu metal phase. But it was like punk music that I was definitely getting into. I was living in California at the time, and skateboarding was a big thing. So my friends and I would listen to like Blink-182 and Less Than Jake, and just bring like a CD player around whenever we'd skate. And it was around that time that I started getting into Christian music. Became a Christian in 8th grade. And started going to a youth group, but there was a bunch of local bands around that area in California. There was a small little label called Betty Rocket Records.
Yeah.
And so like Frito Boat was in the same, they actually went to the same church that I started going to. And so I started going to a lot of their shows, and I discovered Watashi Wa and Noggin Toboggan and Sick of Change and like all those West Coast Christian punk bands on Betty Rocket, going to those shows. And then it was after that I actually discovered Tooth and Nail. So then like a friend got me into, I think, MXPX, eventually got into Starflyer. I don't remember, I'm trying to remember some of the early like Tooth and Nail bands I got into. But yeah, for me, it was like the other way around, where like I discovered Betty Rocket first and then graduated, I guess, to like learning about Tooth and Nail bands. But
yeah, that's so cool. I love that. Yeah, I think it's interesting, like the journey that we all go on when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I probably started more in the like mainstream and then found my way to Tooth and Nail along the way. But it's fun. You started even more obscure and then kind of worked more. Not that Tooth and Nail's mainstream, but you know what I mean?
Oh, and to share this, I was talking about Michael Jackson. When some of my earliest memories are like, I had one of those white sparkly gloves that Michael Jackson wear on one hand. Like I had one of those as a kid, and I just like dance around with that. So I wanted to share some more embarrassing stuff with you guys.
I love it. Did you see the Michael Jackson movie?
I have not yet.
I haven't seen it either.
I don't go to theaters anymore. Once it comes on streaming or something, I'm sure I'll watch it. But I've got kids, and I just don't go to the movies.
Right.
So.
I get. There's so many movies that are actually out right now that I feel like I actually want to see these, but it's so hard to go to a movie.
Well, it's like you go there, and next thing you know, you're like, I'm not going to buy anything, and then you're like, oh, I spent $70. That's cool.
On just the tickets.
We went
for my family.
We went and watched Avengers Endgame, and when we were in there was these two kids up front playing with a stun gun. And like midway through the movie, I'm just like, I can't focus because what are these kids doing with a stun gun? And I feel like that's just at home. You don't have to worry about that unless it's like your own kids playing with it. But then you can say, hey, knock that off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like when you're at home, you don't have to spend $70 and you don't have to be like, what are those kids doing with that stun gun down there?
Yeah. There's
Like a legitimate stun gun? Like,
yeah.
like electrocute you kind of stun gun?
Yeah. We went and told the theater staff, and there was just this like, I don't know, 15-year-old kid that walks down there, and he's just like looking, and he's like, didn't see anything. And we're like, you should stay around and watch, because why would we make that up? But no one got stunned and we enjoyed a good movie. So
thankfully, yeah, it all worked out in the end. That's good.
So moving on, what was your first entry point into like going from listening to music to wanting to make music yourself?
Yeah, so like I said, I got a guitar when I was 13, and it wasn't until I don't know, a couple of years later that I'd moved to Colorado at that point, and where we lived, there wasn't anywhere easy to like skateboard. So I basically kind of gave skateboarding up. I didn't have any friends that did it, the new friends I was making, but I did meet a guy at school who ended up going to the same youth group as him, and that we wanted to start a punk band because we had similar tastes in punk music. And so that was like one of those things like, well, he's like, I've got a bass. And I was like, well, I got a guitar. I don't know how to play it, but pulled it out and, just learned how to read tabs. And like, I don't know, MXPX and Blink 182 tabs are basically how I taught myself how to play punk guitar. And that was the first band. So for me, learning how to play an instrument and making music was always about writing my own songs. And I only really learned how to play other people's songs early on just to learn how to play the instrument.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been the same ever since. I don't really know how to play a lot of other music other than what I write. And anyway, after that punk band, I was in a hardcore band for a little while, a little bit like late in high school, and after high school did a couple tours. Didn't go to college because I thought I was like, I'm just gonna be a musician. But again, my dedication to mastering an instrument was just not there. And then after I got tired of playing hardcore music, I started doing some singer-songwriter stuff. This was around when like I met my wife, and shortly after getting married, just kind of stopped putting music out there. I just didn't have anything motivating me for a little while. But yeah, just kind of in my youth, learned guitar just to, I don't know, express myself, to get like the creative impulse out of me. But
I love that. Yeah. I feel like punk and hardcore, you can kind of get by a little bit. I was watching one of my favorite movies the other day. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's called Sing Street. It's a John Carney movie about these kids in the 80s in Ireland who start like a band. And the main guy in the band, his older brother, is like his kind of like idol and motivator, like always kind of pushing him, and he's talking about how he doesn't really know how to play guitar, and his brother's like, you don't have to actually know how to play guitar. Just like do something. Just get out there. Just do something. And I feel like that's so true. Sometimes we just let those fears kind of hold us back from actually creating. And so
yeah,
that's
I've seen the
cool.
movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, that's really good. So what artists would you say now as you're making music as Fepeste, what are the artists that are kind of the big like influences on the sound? Because you have a really unique sound that you're creating as Fepeste. So what are like all the influences on that?
Oh, thanks for that. I honestly don't look at any particular artist and try to draw direct influence from that. I think what I write is just kind of an amalgamation of a lot of some of my favorite stuff. And like, some of my favorite artists for a long time have been Starflyer, the Beach Boys, Bob Dylan. So, I mean, I think greater and lesser degrees, they probably have influence on my sound. Musically, I love a lot of what the Beach Boys do, but I don't have a beautiful voice like Brian Wilson. It's more like Bob Dylan. So maybe that's where Bob Dylan's influence. I don't write lyrics like Bob Dylan, but I got a weird voice like him. So, another artist that I've always loved is Michael Now and all of his different projects, whether it's Paige France, Cotton Jones, or his solo stuff.
Man.
Damien Jurado, an artist I've been a fan of for a long time. And I think just their general vibes and how their music comes across, I think has influenced my taste and what I like and don't like. But I haven't really like looked at any specific artists. I want to sound just like that or just like this. Because again, I'm not really, I'm kind of fumbling around making these songs. And if I try to sound like something, I always find that I fail at that. And then it just discourages me. So I just write whatever comes out and that I like the way it sounds. And I guess it's some weird combination of all those things, maybe.
Yeah, I think there's like beauty in that. I hear the Beach Boys a ton, just musically and what you have going on. But I do get the sense of like just the juxtaposition then of like the song, like the actual lyric writing and melodies and things. And so I feel like it's a really unique thing. I love hearing you say Michael Now,
Oh,
because
nice.
Page France was one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
And then they dropped off the radar for me, and I looked him up at some point and realized he was still putting out music. And so
Oh, so much
that
music.
was really fun to dive back into everything that he made, like post Page France. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love that.
Where did the name Fepeste come from?
So that band that I mentioned, Watashi Wa, they eventually became a Tooth and Nail band. And they're releasing that's something. I listened to their single the other day. Speaking of music we've been listening to, they've got a
Yeah,
new
I saw
album
that.
dropping, which I'm super excited that they're still putting music out. Anyway, originally Watashi Wa was on Betty Rocket Records, and so I discovered them around the time I became a Christian, and they had a song on their first album titled Fepeste, and it's a made up word. I actually, when I saw Seth at a show one time, I asked him what it meant, and he just said it was a made up word. But that song lyrically just always had a huge impact on me, especially as a young Christian. And so for a long time, I wanted to use Fepeste as a band name. Like I kind of stopped really working on music around when my wife and I got married, but I've had that name set aside in my mind that I wanted to use that because I've always felt insecure about going by my name, my own name. So I wanted something that sounded kind of like a band name, but every good band name at this point, I feel like has been taken. And so because of the meaningfulness of the lyrics of that Watashi Wa song, combined with the fact that it's a made up word that doesn't mean anything really, I was like, nobody's going to have taken this name. So like, this is something that's meaningful to me and I'll call it Fepeste. So for me though, as a word, it just kind of reminds me of God's sufficiency. That for me, I'll find my joy and my purpose and my salvation in God and in Him alone. So if I could condense that all into one word, it would be Fepeste.
That's cool. I love that. You mentioned like taking a break from music for a while when you met your wife, and I'm guessing starting family and things. Like, what kind of led you to like back into, I want to create again, I want to make music again? How'd that journey happen?
Yeah. Well, early on in our marriage, I was still kind of like writing stuff and had these ideas, but I was kind of insecure about it, didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And so it never really manifested as anything. And then the closest I got to really releasing anything is I wrote this album in 2014. It ended up being my first full-length album I released as Fepeste called All Glory. But I wrote those songs after this, this event happened to my wife and I, and it was a way of processing through all that. And I got really close. A buddy helped me record almost the entire album, but again, like on the right before the finish line and finishing the album, I just kind of got cold feet and shelved it. So at that point, I really did sell like pretty much all my music gear, all my instruments, and I was like, I'm just done. I can't keep doing this to myself, writing these music and not releasing it. What's the point? So it was a number of years later that around 2020, I was getting involved in some ministry that then kind of the direction of that changed, and all of a sudden I wasn't doing that anymore. So it freed up what had been occupying a lot of my mind and my time. And I had a friend, her name's Taya, and she's a missionary out in Moldova right now, but she was living here at the time, and she was writing her own songs. And her songs are great. And I decided, hey, you need to get these songs out here. Telling her what people kept telling me. I was like, you should record these and actually put these out there, and I'll help you record them. So I got some, microphone, little interface and all that, and kind of learned how to record music, helping her record her songs. And through that process, her and her family, I was showing them music I had worked on, and they're like, you got to release this album it's almost done. Just finish it and put it out there. And so like with their encouragement, I did that. I had Taya sing on that album with me. I think having someone else's voice in the mix with mine made me feel a little bit more confident about putting it out there. So anyway, all that to say, sorry, I'm rambling. I do that. But I think it was 2021, 2022, I finally released that album. And it was kind of I just want to get this off my plate. Like I get it out there, be done with it, and say, finally, I've released some music. And there was something about finally doing that, though, that kind of opened the floodgates. And immediately just felt the itch to start writing for my album after that. And it just kind of snowballed from there. It wasn't something I intended to, like, you know what, I'm gonna get back into music. It wasn't this very conscious decision, but yeah, I just found myself learning how to play guitar again.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like that period of time, I know for me too, like COVID, coming out of COVID, a lot of us were like, oh, we have this like free time that we didn't have for so long. And so like, I feel like there's a lot of creativity that like happened just because our lives shifted in an interesting way. And we had more space for that. So yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that as a time period for it too. So
Yeah, it's so for me, it was always when I was younger, I wanted to write music and because I always loved music when I was little, I thought that I would be a musician someday. And that's what I wanted to do. But then there was maybe some motivations for doing it that kind of soured the whole thing about making music, that if I wasn't getting the recognition or people weren't listening to it, it made it difficult and scary to like continue down that path. But now, picking it up much later in life, well after I have kids and all this stuff, it was much more for me. It was a creative outlet that I didn't really know that I needed. And I think that's what surprised me when I did start playing music again. It was always, again, to write my own stuff, and whether people listen to it or not, like I'm not trying to make a living doing this. So there's a lot of pressure that was taken off of myself, and very different like motivations for why I'm doing music now than I think when I was younger.
that's cool.
Cool. So next up, Jesus Freak Hideout, which shout out to them. I feel like they have introduced me to so many great bands over the year. Like they just do a really good job of, it's not like hey, this is like super popular, whatever. It's like, you know, from the stuff that's number one on the radio to the people who are like, hey, you've never heard of this person, but you're missing out. So shout out to them for just introducing people to great music. But their reviewer, Josh Underdown, they reviewed y'all's album, and he mentioned how your album was such a great example of having great music and a great message and not having to sacrifice either. As an artist, is that something that like came naturally for you, or is that something that you like have to battle with when you're recording or?
Well, first of all, I want to just echo what you said about Jesus Freak Hideout. They've been very kind to me, and so like I really appreciate that. And Josh Underdown specifically has written some nice stuff about me, and he's a really cool dude. I've never met him in real life, but I very much appreciate him. And yeah, as far as I don't know, my music and my message, is it great? I don't know. I don't think I have like an objective opinion about my music. It doesn't come naturally in the sense of one of the reasons I think I continue to write music is because I like the challenge of trying to outdo myself. Like the next song I write or the next album I write, I want it to be better than the one that came before. And so I don't think, as far as writing good music, if that's what I'm doing, it doesn't come like super easy. I am trying to push myself. It might be easy for other artists. I don't think anything I'm doing is that crazy difficult maybe, but it is for me. So yeah, that part's difficult. But as far as like having a good message, lyric writing is difficult for me, but it's not hard. I'm writing the lyrics for myself, and so that part's not difficult because I'm not trying to communicate something where I'm not giving myself this mark that I have to surpass when it comes to that. Like it just has to feel right and be honest for myself. And sometimes the hard thing is being honest and figuring out a way to put that into words that also fits my music. Because honestly, I think I've told other people this, that I wish I could write more minor key music, because I think some lyrics that do come naturally to me would fit better with minor key music. And so I find that some of my early drafts of lyrics, I end up tweaking them just to fit, because I love minor key music, but every time I try to write it, when it comes out of me, I don't end up liking it. I like when other people do it. So everything is always like major key. My music tends to be somewhat happy-ish sounding, I guess. And I'm always finding that like I have to tweak the lyrics to fit that vibe. But other than that, like it's really just what feels right to me. Like, am I being honest with myself? And yeah.
Which I don't know if you've heard us mention on past episodes, but the first time I was explaining your music to Joel, I came up with this phrase that I was like, well, like, I guess it's like something I would call like journal worship, where it's like, you listen to like music that's written for like, oh, other people, like it's gonna, they can sing this on church on Sunday or whatever. But I was like, his music just sounds like he just like grabbed his journal and picked up a guitar with a couple of buddies and recorded. And that was something that I really loved, was that I was like, I feel like that comes across when an artist is like, this is what I'm working through, this is what I'm feeling, versus, ooh, if I write this song, I might can get a hit on the radio, or like I might can make some money off of this song, versus, nope, I'm dealing with this, and maybe someone else can relate to it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good phrase, journal worship or journal music. Except for the fact, like, I don't journal. I've always wanted to be one of those guys who like wakes up early in the morning and journals. My wife does that, and I think it's such a cool habit. I am not a journaler, but my music really kind of is that. Like, this is a way that I process through. I've said that my music for me is like little prayers. Their way of me like intentionally writing down these things I'm thinking about, praying about, wrestling with. And so, yeah, I think in a way, these songs are journal entries for me, in a way for me to process through things. And, I'm so happy to be here on this podcast. I don't really ever think that anybody's going to hear my music. So when I write these songs, I didn't write them as like, oh, this is going to get on the radio, or this is going to, that stuff doesn't cross my mind. Like, I'm not writing it for someone else. So I do like that phrase, I guess, journal music.
Yeah, Brandon's been popularizing that, so we're going to get T-shirts made. We talk about journal worship a lot, because I think some of our favorite artists are making music that way, that they really are just kind of putting on paper and on track like their right now relationship with God and what it looks like in its rawness, but also in just reality. And there's something like authentic and real about that you don't get in worship music today. And yeah, I love that kind of stuff. There was a description that got used. I don't know if you ever listened to John Guerra and his music, but he's like a singer-songwriter who does kind of more personal worship stuff. But I saw a description of his music that was like, his songs are intimate sonic prayers. And I thought that was like a cool way to think about songs like this. So
I like that. I've heard his name. I need to check him out.
Yeah,
I've been needing to do that.
He put out a record last year called Jesus.
Okay.
And it was my number one last year. It's fantastic. Nice. So if you like Sufjan or anything, I think you'll really love it.
Okay, definitely. I'll check it out. Yeah.
So just kind of following up on that and what you said, even talking about like your lyrics coming across a certain way, like your new record starts off with a song called Be Forgotten, which is, I'm guessing, like from the Count Zinzendorf quote, like preach the gospel, die, be forgotten.
Yep, exactly.
And your music carries with your lyrics, and music carry with it this like pretty significant like theological weight to it, but it comes across in a way that's not, it doesn't sound like preachy, it doesn't sound trite, it feels really grounded and authentic in a lot of the ways that we've been talking about. Have you had like other artists that you feel like have modeled that for you really well, that you've kind of learned from and said, man, these are the kinds of songs that I want to write? Or do you feel like it's just been more of a natural experience for you?
Definitely more of a natural experience. I am not saying that other artists don't do that, but for me, I have not come across one that I have seen do that, at least in the genre that the music that I guess I write.
Right.
Whatever that genre might be. Like I think there's some hip hop artists that I've discovered that do stuff like that.
Yeah.
That I've definitely benefited from. But no, there's not anybody like I've looked at and said I want to write lyrics like them. I mean, there are like I have some lyricists that I love and I admire, and I'm like I wish I could write lyrics like them. But again, I've found that what's the saying that comparison is the thief of joy. That for me to enjoy writing music, if I start comparing myself to how somebody else does it and how can I do that like they do it,
Yeah.
I feel like I'll always fall short and I'll always kind of take the joy out of it. So for me, I think where I guess my style, thank you for saying it's not preachy. I don't want it to be preachy because I'm not writing it that way, but it is preaching to me. So a lot of it, I'm trying to write some theological truths that I need to hear. That there's a song on my latest album called "Gotta Sing It,"
Yeah.
and in that song is basically about when you don't feel like even when you feel like you're not believing these truths, sing them anyway. Because sometimes just like it's almost like the fake it till you make it thing. Like just sing these truths and eventually like you'll believe them again. Or so like my first album, All Glory, I wrote those songs as I was learning some new doctrines and some new theology that I didn't know before as a Christian that actually really impacted how my wife and I went through a time of suffering and trial. And because we were lacking in some kind of basic knowledge as Christians about Scripture, about who God is, about His plans for us, those songs were written as like me processing through some of these new truths that I was learning, and putting them into song form was my way of like understanding them, of distilling them down into like an idea that I could grasp, that I could sing, that putting them into my own words. And so I think all of my songs since then have kind of been a similar thing. It's me working through. You brought up the song "Be Forgotten," and that was me very much working through this idea of, as Christians, our purpose is to preach the gospel. It is not to leave some lasting mark for our own glory here on earth. It's to leave a lasting mark for the gospel, for Christ. And that can be a very depressing thing if you're looking at it with like a worldly lens of like, my great grandchildren probably won't even know who I am or even hear stories about me because I don't know who my great grandfather was.
Yeah.
We get lost to the sands of time. And so, writing that song was me speaking a truth to myself. And that's why I think my music is very theological, because I need to be reminded of these things. And I'm learning these things myself as I'm reading. Oftentimes when I'm reading a book, it's really difficult to stay focused because my mind starts wandering of how can I I want to turn this idea that I'm learning about into a song, because I want to put it into words that I can sing and understand. So
I love the idea there that of just the repetition of just keep doing it, and what you talked about of like hoping to feel it again. It reminds me, like John Piper, I think one time said that he would have people come and ask him, man, when I pray, I just don't feel anything. Or when I read my Bible, I don't feel anything. What should I do? And his answer was always, well, just keep doing it. Like, don't stop. Like, keep doing it every day. And when you do it, pray and say, God, speak to me. And eventually God's going to show up, and he's going to, you're going to meet him there in that place. And yeah, I love that connection, even in music. Yeah.
If, not to get preachy now, I guess, but like if we're praying or if we're reading our Bible, if we're pursuing these practices, so that we can feel something from it, if we're discouraged and we don't continue to do it because we're not feeling this feeling that we want to feel, then it's almost like we're worshiping that feeling more than we're actually worshiping God. We're instructed to do these things as Christians, and therefore we should do them regardless of how we feel. If that warm, fuzzy feeling comes, then that's great. That's just icing on the cake. But if we aren't doing that because we're not feeling the way we want to feel, are we worshiping that feeling more than we are God? Are we chasing some kind of high instead of using a drug to get there? We're using some pious practice to achieve the same results as we are from like a drug.
Yeah, man, that's a good word. That's a really good word.
Yeah, so for us, I know for me, for the past year, I feel like this podcast has let me meet just a lot of different bands out there. And I feel like a lot of them have came from the Velvet Blue music stable, a lot like yourself. So I was wondering, what is it like working with the people at Velvet Blue Music?
I think it's awesome that you said people. Yeah, Velvet Blue Music is a one-man operation. It is Jeff Cloud, the legendary Jeff Cloud. So, no, it's been great. It's been a dream come true. It's been very easy. Jeff has been so encouraging in the fact that he wanted to release this album. You know, I wrote this album on my own, and I sent it to him as just, kind of a shot in the dark, and he liked it and he wanted to release it. But it wasn't, again, I wasn't intending to release it on Velvet Blue as I was writing it. So the fact that Jeff likes what I do, Jeff Cloud is, for those who don't know, he's played in a lot of different bands. He's played bass in Starflyer for a while, or had in the past. He played in Joy Electric. He's had his own band called Pony Express, and he's been involved in lots of different music, and he's been running Velvet Blue for, I think, almost 30 years, around 30 years, somewhere in that ballpark now. And so I've been a big fan of the label for a long time, and it's just really cool that he would want to release my music. And I love CDs, so I've self-released my other albums, and I've always released them on CD. But vinyl's expensive, so it's this is the first album I've actually had released on vinyl because Jeff was willing to do that. And the other cool thing about Velvet Blue is it's not a Christian label. There are a lot of not Christian bands at all that make amazing music on the label that I've been a fan of for a long time. But there's also, some other artists that are, I don't know what they would call themselves. I think they are Christians. I mean, like Jason Martin is releasing Starflyer on there. His son is doing the Rocky Valentines. Man, I love his music so much. Gilia Taylor, her album Slow Parade, it came out in 2024, was my favorite album in 2024, and I still listen to that all the time. And there's like cool Christians who are releasing music on that label, and there are people who aren't Christians, and it's just like Jeff is he's just passionate about music, and if he likes it, he gets behind it. It doesn't matter what it is. He believes in the music, and it's cool, because we were just talking about my lyrics. My lyrics are pretty blatantly Christian, and for someone who isn't even running a Christian label, to be like, yeah, I'll put this blatantly Christian music out there in the world, I'm like, this is just great. It's such a blessing, and it's been nothing but easy and fun working with him in Velvet Blue. So
that's really cool. I feel like they're a label that's kind of like the epitome of like authenticity, but also just like there's so much work and creativity that goes in everything that they release, and I don't ever receive something from them and it's not just impeccably done. I feel like they just always go the extra mile, and I don't ever buy like the super deluxe packages of things, but like the cool creative ideas that they come up with for releases, and even I think a lot in the terms of the Starflyer stuff that's come out. But some of it, like the quality of what you're getting in your hands is just like way better than anything else that you would pick up from another record label. I just feel like so much work and thought goes into everything that they put out. And so
yeah,
that's really cool. Plus you get to be label mates with Jason Martin, which is
oh my gosh, dude, dream come true. Like we mentioned it earlier, but he mastered the album, and that was always something I wanted to have him have a hand in, something I put out there music wise. And So the fact that that was able to happen, and yeah, I'm label mates with people that blow my mind. Like, I have really severe imposter syndrome, and I do not feel like I deserve or belong on this label. Like I was saying, I mean, some of my favorite albums in the past 10 years have been released by Jeff on this label. And I mean, yeah, I was going to mention some, but I know it's a Christian music podcast, so I won't recommend any heathen music to your listeners. But he just puts out great music, and I love being part of this family. It's cool.
It's fine. I talked about Pet Sounds and Clarity. It's okay.
That's
That's
right.
our other podcast. Hey, are you heathen?
I think the guys at the Church Jams Now podcast, they do special episodes, sometimes called Secular Jams Now, which they can just so much easier do that with their like name. But I love that. That's fun. So what does the future of Fepeste look like? Are you working on anything new? Do you have any like goals or ideas or?
That's a tough question. You know, where I'm at in life, I don't have a band or anything, so I can't play shows, at least not easily. I've done a few shows, but it's not something I particularly enjoy doing. And with the time that I have, I kind of have to pick from, do I try to make a band and play some shows, or do I spend that time working on new music?
Right.
And for me, I'd always rather just, hunker down here in my basement when the kids are asleep and try to work on some new songs. That being said, I don't have anything like clear cut that I'm doing. I have some ideas and songs percolating. It's been a really difficult, since the album came out, it's been a difficult season of life. And there's been a lot of restrictions time-wise on my ability to write music as much as I would like right now. But I've been working very, very slowly at different things. So I would love to release more music in the future, but there's nothing on the horizon, no hard dates that I can absolutely point to. I'd love to put something out towards the end of this year, if that gives any ideas of what I might be working on.
That's cool.
But we'll see.
I love that. True Brian Wilson, not wanting to hit the road, but stay home and make music out of your house. I love it. That's awesome. Well, man, it's been so fun having you on to chat through this stuff, and we love your music and are here for more of it, and so excited to continue to hear what happens. Let's talk really quick about our lyric of the week.
It's time for the lyric of the it's time.
Our lyric of the week comes from Starflyer 59's song, I Am a CEO. And it goes, you can sail across the sea, you can climb the highest peak, you could build it on your own, but you're still not in control. There's also a small chance that I've used that before. So if someone's listening out here,
Whoever it is, it's like keeping tabs of everything that we say.
you get a free sticker if you can tell me which episode that was used.
That's hilarious. I love it. Awesome. Well, Eric, tell us, where can people find you online, and where would you point people to say, go find Fepeste here?
Oh, yeah. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever it is. I think it's just at Fepeste on all those places. And then if you want to buy my music, I've got my older albums and stuff on Bandcamp, but go to velvetbluemusic.com or their Bandcamp page to get the new album and pick up some of their other stuff too, because it's all good. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of great stuff there. That's awesome. And of course, guys, you can find us out there, Facebook, Instagram. Thanks for listening and joining with us. And special thanks to Eric for jumping on and spending some time talking about Fepeste with us today. And so
thanks for having me, guys. Like, it blows my mind that anybody wants to have me on a podcast and talk about my music. So thank you. It's really cool of you to do this. So thanks.
Yeah, it's been a blast, man. And we're excited to see where your music continues to go. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Hey, are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs.